What's up, guys? We're gonna real beats, and today we're gonna be continuing from the last video where we made our super trap melody, and I'll just play it real quick. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description so you can watch that video and follow along. So now we're gonna be doing the trap drums, okay, which will be a little bit more complicated than usual. So let's just go ahead and get started, and we're gonna start with our 808s. All right, so now we're gonna get into our 808s. So with this style, you typically want 1 to 2 808s or type of low end, so like a synth bass, anything of that sort. But I chose 3. I just wanted to do 3. I thought it would be fun. So we're gonna do our primary 808. So to set this up so that you can use whatever sounds you want with your 808, basically with your low ends, you want to right click and cut it. You want it to cut itself. That way it's not muddy. And this is like old. Everyone should know this by now. Okay. And then for every single 808 or bass that you have, you want to have this envelope on. Now, whatever DAW you in, I'm not sure how you'll get this, but basically you want it to play so that when you stop pressing the button, the 808 stops. Okay, and this will make it'll make it easier so that you can mix and match any 808 that you want. Okay, so you typically would just go to envelope and then turn everything down and turn the hold up. Simple as that. Okay, so for our 808, we're just gonna go into our melody, and we're gonna go here, and I guess we could zoom in a little bit, and we're gonna take our G sharp right here, our lowest note, and we go up 7 from this to get a 5th. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Copy whatever note was there, the D sharp. We're gonna go to our primary 808, paste that in, and now we just have fun. You just go and make your little 808 pattern. So we could put these in little 808 spots. Let's pull that over and do something like this, and then you can kind of be a little creative. You know, you could make sure, I want to make sure everything's in frame for you. There we go. All right, I'm gonna control L, and then we could do something like this. Pull that down. Let's see. Copy it over, and then I'm gonna just pull this up an octave and just oversimplify this second part, like so. And then on this part over here, let's copy it, and we just add a little bit of variation. We don't need to do anything outside the box. Basically, we're gonna, where is this at? Basically, we're gonna combine the beginning in this part, but just put it here. So if we just Shift D, we could pull that up, and literally anything like that. And I guess if we wanted to, maybe like right here, we could throw in little part. Okay, now if you understand the placements of the 808 and how they hit to create bounce, you can kind of do whatever. Like you could do a chop here if you wanted to. I wouldn't do that, but if you wanted to, you could. So let's play it. Okay, so that is our primary 808. I would do them all in one, but I want this video to be digestible because I want people to be able to click around to the parts that they want to see and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll move on to our secondary 808s. Now let's do our secondary 808. So how you want to do this is you can overlap them if you want to. And I'll do that personally. I don't like to follow the rules. I just do whatever I like. So if you wanted to, you could overlap some of the 808s, because I think it does create like some interesting sounds and stuff. But if we want to follow the style, basically you would copy, or matter of fact, to make it easier, you would just take stuff out of this pattern. So let's see. So let's take this right here, and we're literally going to cut it out. So now this doesn't exist here, and place it in here. And this is the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. Make sure it pastes in the right place. And then what we can do is we can add some slides. Make sure it's in the right octave or note, and we could do one over here. Boom. It's that simple. And this should create some like interesting patterns and stuff. So let's play. You see how everything, it automatically sounds good because we just how we set it up in the beginning. And then over here, let's maybe cut out this and add this one. And matter of fact, I probably would even try to mesh if I wasn't making a tutorial and I was just kind of like trying to like experiment. I had time to do that because obviously in a tutorial I can't just experiment during the video, right? I would try to actually like mess around with this a little bit, okay? But I think for this, I'm gonna just leave it simple because I don't want to confuse people skipping around and stuff. So that is our final 808 pattern. And then for the kick real quick, I think we can just throw in the kick. It doesn't need to be the craziest thing ever. And for me, I like to double up the kick just to give it punch. Now, the reason why I'm adding the kick, because we don't need it, it's to keep the bounce there because the kick is so punchy that you can't really ignore it. So we want to keep that bounce in there. And if you want to take it out, you can, but I like keeping it in there if I need it. So that is the low end. Let's go ahead and I guess we can move on to like the clap and perks and stuff. Now let's go ahead and get into the drums. So with Supertrap, I came up with 3 categories that could probably help you make drums easier or figure out what drums to choose. So if we zoom in here, I just recolored everything, obviously. So we have the melody, the low end, and then this green part is like the primary drum. So your perks, claps, snares, stuff like that. And then here's a new one, which I like to call scrap. So scrap is just, you know, any sound that's not necessarily a drum sound. So it could be kind of like a loop. So here I picked a loop. And that is going to kind of help you create like some unique patterns within your beat. So this could be Foley, it could be literally anything that you want. So any like non-drum element, it can be a drum, but typically maybe something that's not like a non-drum. And then you have like your hi-hats and open hats. Simple as that. So that's how we're going to do this. So in this one, we're just going to do the basic drums. I'm going to layer this snare and clap. And then with your drums, you kind of want them to have like, you want them to be very clear, right? So you see how my clap and my snare, they're very like, very crispy. You want them like that. So they punch through all of the synths and stuff like that. And to help, we're gonna just turn these up like so. And then for the rest, I don't know, we could just do like basic patterns. It doesn't need to like be the craziest stuff ever. Maybe we could do something like that. All right, I like that. So we're gonna set the next bar. I wish you can preset this to a number, but it is what it is. And boom, that's the drum. So now we're gonna go ahead and take care of the scrap part. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and take care of the scrap part. So this again can be any sound that you want, just something to spice up the drums. Usually a non-drum element. Now here I have like a shaker, but it's like a perk loop. Okay. So I thought that would be interesting to add. So just literally just doing this could be good enough. You see it adds a lot to it already. So we just come up with a little decent pattern. Just maybe. And then maybe we can add maybe something like this. So now what I like to do is go in here and you can play around with the octave and stuff like that. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna pull these up so you can see. And is this doubled? Okay, it's not. Let's pull these up an octave. And then maybe pull these down an octave. See what that sounds like. It doesn't need to be crazy, but just something. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then we can copy it over and make sure that it loops just like so. So that is a scrap. I'll play it. I'll turn this off so we can hear. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our hi-hats and our open hat. Now it's time to start our hats. So I might chop this up too because the hi-hats can get very complex. So let's go in here. Now you can start on C if you want, or you can start on the root note, or I don't even think this is the right, but you can start where your 808 started, so the G sharp, right? Which I like to do for this style, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna pretty much quantize that, and we could just do a pattern like this, and I'm gonna shrink that down because that is too slow. So I'm gonna pull the first one up so it gives a little bit of bounce. And yeah, we just pull that over. I'm gonna try to keep everything in frame. So everything we make is gonna follow this pattern. So next I'm gonna change the color just so we can kind of see what's going on. Now we're gonna go a little bit smaller and go to 1/4 beats, and then we're just gonna kind of add stuff in between. And then of course you want to mess with the velocity too. So I'm gonna pull that about half of this. And then maybe we can do like something like this. And we can highlight those and pull them back. I'm gonna pull them up just slightly so you can hear them a little bit more. Copy it over. All right, so now we're gonna go to the next level. Let's choose like a lighter color. And what we're gonna do is kind of copy, let's copy our 808. So you see it goes from G sharp all the way up to the G sharp 6. So we kind of do something like that. It doesn't need to follow exactly. So I'm gonna just hit the G sharp here. Now I need to shrink this so we can see. And then just chop it. I'm gonna pull it up an octave, and then I'm gonna do this one and just pull it down an octave. Now this is where it'll get real small, so you just gotta bear with me. Okay, so what I want to do next is just pan these. You don't have to do this, but it's just something that I think will sound nice. So I'm gonna pan them. I'm gonna pan this one. Simple as that. Doesn't need to do anything crazy. So when you pan it, make sure you reset your pan so the new notes you place aren't automatically panned. Okay, so I like that. I think that's clean. So what else could we add here? So I'm gonna just shrink this back so we can see the notes we're using from the start. Let's see, let's add another chop. Let's do a chop like right here. Let's make a smaller chop though. Yeah, something like that. And then what I'm gonna do, so you can see this, hold up, is I'm gonna just fade it out like that, but just pull it down. I'm gonna do a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna just do that. And we're just gonna copy it over, right? Simple patterns, but they're all together, so it looks complex, but really we're just doing super simple patterns. Then I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna change the color, and then I'm just going to pull this up like so. And there's tools to do this, but I'm gonna do it manual so everyone can follow along, because obviously not everyone has FL Studio. Let's maybe do. And I'm gonna pull this back. Okay, so that is our pattern. Super complex, I know. That's the hi-hat. So we're gonna go ahead and right click. So it's 64. So now we're gonna go ahead and hop into the open hat. And I'll try to do that a little bit more simple. So now lastly for our drums, we're gonna do the open hat. So the only thing you wanna change for your actual sample is you wanna make sure you control it with this hold envelope. That way it stops when you stop playing it. So with this, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna do a 1/6 beat. I'm gonna try to make this a little easier to look at. I mean, we just kind of put these wherever. Now the cool thing is you can actually play around with the slides with these. Stuff like that, but you know, I don't know if I would do that for this. Let's put it where the hi-hat would be. Okay, I think that's subtle enough. And then we can copy this over here. And if we want to, we could do that slide too. And see what that sounds like, just to mess around with the slides a bit. Right, simple as that. And then over here, I don't know, we can just copy this just for variation, just to cheat it a little bit. Let's maybe do it right here. And then we can all right, whatever, right? It doesn't need to be perfect. So that is the open hat. I'm gonna just center it so you can see all of it together. That's the open hat. And I think that's good. So now we're just gonna play it and make sure it sounds good all together. I'm gonna just play like. Okay, I like that. Of course, you want to mix it a bit. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go and kind of mix it slightly. I'm not gonna do a lot because this video already is long. But I'm gonna just go through, add some effects, and just show you what I added, if I add any. Okay. All right. So for the effects, I didn't do a lot. I didn't want to do a lot. So on the master, I just have this soft clipper. Okay. And then for all the sounds, I put them into a bus. And then this is kind of the EQ I went with. So I wanted to take out some of the lows so the bass could shine. And then I boosted the highs since this is very synthy. All these sounds are very synthy. And then I just pulled this down about -6 dB from all of my drums, just to kind of let the drums shine a bit, because the melody isn't supposed to be like melodic or something you remember. It's just supposed to be noise. So that's what it sounds like. Okay. And then on my actual drums, besides like the basic stuff, the panning and stuff like that, I wonder if I can just solo this. I have halftime and thermal. So I was kind of playing around with halftime a bit, but thermal, I have this little custom preset, this high ring. So this is what it sounds like, just all the way on. Okay, so I kind of like that like ringiness, especially with this style. So I just turned it down until I thought it blended in nicely. I think it further gave it that like super trap or like alien type vibe. So I added that on top of everything. Okay. And then what else here? We have this halftime. I kind of played around with this a bit. I wasn't sure if I really liked it, but I just playing around with the mix. And I'll play it with the melody too, because sometimes it sounded really good. All right, you can kind of play around with the smoothness and stuff. You can see that gives it a lot of bounce. You could try 1/2 loop. And I thought this one sounded better, like the 1 bar. So I'm gonna keep it there. All right, so that's pretty much the drums. I'll play it one time through, and then yeah, we could just end the video. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.